Hello fellow travelers, welcome back to Table for One. I am starting a new journey today, and at the moment I'm at the train station in Sutomore, Montenegro. And today's trip is going to start with a train from here to the capital, Podgorica, to catch a plane and then continue on. So this is going to be a long trip, looking at 3 to 5 months and 2 continents. A chance to explore. And as far as luggage goes, for 3 to 5 months, this is it. This has turned into an exercise in minimalism. So you know how it is when you go on a long trip, you could end up with a lack of enjoyment from having to pack luggage around for miles and miles. Anyway, so there'll be more videos to follow and good times, so stay tuned. So I'm on the train from Sutomore, Montenegro to Podgorica to catch a flight. And just wanted to share the view. Those of you that have never been to Montenegro, the train tickets were really reasonable here. They had no first class tickets, but the second class ticket was under €2 one way. Entering a tunnel. Yeah, some of these are quite long, so we'll continue this later. And we seem to have a stop. And away we go. of undeveloped land here. Cattle. So now we're getting toward the edge of Skadar Lake, and we'll cross a bridge up here and have a much better view of it. But Skadar Lake is the largest lake in southern Europe, and it extends up here into Montenegro, and the southern end of it extends quite a long ways into Albania, down below us here in the Balkans. So the area around Skadar Lake is, you can tell, it's very wild, very marshy. And a lot of wildlife, a lot of water birds, otters. Urban on this side. And we're coming up to a stop here, I believe. Yeah, from the looks of it. So as you can tell, these trains are electric. Some stickers that people have left here on the train in Montenegro. Somebody's poignant message that seems appropriate these days. We're coming up on sign that was warning you about the otters. We're coming up on the bridge over Lake Skadar. And midway across the bridge is the ruins of an old fort I wanted to capture on the video. Down this side. Anyone wondering about the season, today is December 3rd, 2023. So it is midwinter here. Their winters are pretty mild. Unless you get into the interior, and particularly up in the mountains, then you will see a lot of snow. It's quite a contrast. Along the coast, you have mild temperatures, you can grow citrus in your yards, but then you get in the interior and you will find snow ski resorts. Yeah, so now this is more of Lake Skadar proper, and you still see, of course, all the marshy areas that surround it. On the other side of the bridge up here, typically lot of days you'll see local fishermen selling their catch just right out of the basket. A small tunnel coming up, and then shortly we'll exit, and then we'll be crossing the bridge shortly after that. So I want you to take note of something here. Now we're coming up on the bridge, and now the road is on our right. And over here, you drop off into the water. That's important, and I'll explain why here in a minute. A lot of shore fishermen, a few in the boats. So about midway down this bridge, you can probably start to see it now, is an old fort. And this fort was built, I believe, in 1832. And not long afterwards was captured by the Turks. And it was never rebuilt or repaired, I think, after the Turks left. But the reason that I'm pointing some of these things out to you, hang on, I want to get something else here. So there's a small village type thing up here surrounding sort of a, I'm going to call it a bay for lack of anything else to call it. And it looks very old, and it looks like it's somewhat destitute with not a lot of money. Well, I would abandon Vranjina, and I'm probably mispronouncing that. But the area that I'm talking about is coming up shortly. We're stopping before we get there. So that being the case, I'll explain the details that I was talking about earlier. So on one side of the railroad tracks is the road, and there's hardly any room at all between the train and the road. And that's something to be aware of, because tourists will see that fort and want to go visit it, and the only way actually to walk to it is along the railroad tracks. And they get part way down the bridge, and the train will be coming, and they have nowhere to go. On one side is a road where they jump into traffic, and the other side they'd have to jump into the water. So a lot of tourists have almost got killed there. Okay, so this is the small village around the bay that I was talking about. There must be some interesting history with this place. There's a church up on the hill, but these buildings look old. on the other side of the train, it's sort of the same scenery. It's marshy, and wet, some mountains in the distance. Oh, a lot of waterfowl. Something good to know about the train here. There's hardly anyone on it. I've got this whole compartment to myself that looks like it would seat 6. But anyway, I went to buy the train ticket several days ago, and the person working in the train station in Sutomore told me there's no need for it. They said just come back in a few minutes before the train that you want to catch is coming through and buy your ticket then. And I asked, well, are you going to be sold out? She said, no, it's never full, so you don't need to worry about that. So I don't know, there might be exceptions, but apparently normally it's never full. This Montenegro has its own flavor. Zeta. So you might have noticed something at the station we just stopped at, Zeta. Here in Montenegro, they've adopted the English script, but they also use the Cyrillic script, and so you see a lot of the time signs and such things written both ways, and you did back there. You had Zeta with the Latin alphabet, and then you had it with the Cyrillic alphabet. typically see a lot of produce stands along the road in this area, selling whatever's in season. That one obviously was closed, but this time of the year you're seeing the last of the oranges, a few persimmons. This is stop Maracha. Maracha, which also happens to be the name of the river that we passed not too long ago. Okay, well we're closing in on Podgorica now, and since the airport is on this end of town, I'm going to go ahead and put the camera away and get ready to depart the train. So stay tuned, there'll be more to follow. Well, so I got off the train at the airport stop. Just before the stop, they would be, I guess, downtown Podgorica. And according to Google Maps, the airport is that way. So let's go find it. Okay, as you can see, I made it to the Podgorica airport, and I'd like to share some impressions. So I got off the train at the airport stop, and from there it was a 1.3 kilometer walk to get here. And I was lucky. I had a backpack and a shopping bag, and I didn't have any wheeled luggage or heavy luggage. Otherwise, this would have been a mistake. A lot of the walking was right along the edge of the road to get here. And if you had heavy luggage or wheeled luggage, it would have been a real pain, or if it had been raining, it would have been a real pain. So if you have things like that and don't want to make that walk, what I would advise you to do is not get off at the airport stop, but go ahead and continue on and get off at Podgorica and get a taxi and have the taxi bring you back to the airport. It'll save you a lot of headaches. But if you have a good day like this and all you have is a backpack, it wasn't a bad walk. Anyway, it's just another good thing to know. Anyway, stay tuned. Ciao.